Hello, and welcome to Steve's Mixtapes. Like many people, if you ask me to list my favourite 10 or 20 albums of all time today and ask me again in a couple of months' time, you get a different list. But there are half a dozen or so that will always be there, no matter what, and my guest this week was responsible for one of them.
How can you act so numb, blinkered and puffed and cold as the rain? Nancy, I thought that you meant it. I have wasted my whole life. I wish I'd never been born. Bring on the gun. Yes, no, statue. Someone Goodbye, John. I hope you're there to meet me when I'm gone. My old son, the grass is black. We both reap the same yawn. Where would John? Where would John? I hope you're there to meet me when I'm gone. My old son, the grass is black. We both reap the same yawn.
That was a little sample of music from the impeccable 1988 LP Gladsome, Humour and Blue. And I'm truly delighted to say that my guest this week is Martin Stephenson. So welcome to Steve's Mixtapes, Martin.
Hello, Steve. Thanks for having me.
Well, it's an absolute pleasure to have you on. It's not that I don't like any of your other stuff, but that album has always been in my my very top few. Very fond memories of it. I think I said in my email to you, I have a particularly strong memory of my friend John Lawson and I driving down to the Reading Festival in 1989 in the middle of the night after he'd just finished a 12-hour shift, and keeping him awake by singing all the words to Gladsome, Humour and Blue at the top of my voice to try and stop him steering into the hard shoulder.
That's an honour, man. It's an honour. It's lovely when you hear those little stories. It's interesting from my point of view, other people's lives and, backdrop in their lives. And I always thought that album was more important than Port Bolivia for me as well,
Yeah. No, so, I mean, if there's anybody out there who hasn't heard it, I recommend you'll have to go and buy it. It is good. It's not on Spotify, but go out and buy the CD or buy the record. Enjoy because it's marvelous. Now, I must say, because we've talked about this already, regular guests may notice I sound slightly different for some interviews. I do have if you've listened to the episode 50 with my mum, which I know you have as well, Martin, you might have spotted that when I'm speaking to somebody from my homeland, my native accent comes out a little bit. So if I sound a little bit more northeastern than usual, it's because Martin has brought that out to me. So there we go. Right, okay, Martin. So you're up in the Highlands of Scotland, is that right?
I am. I'm in a little village called Kingston. I'm at Anna's place near Lossiemouth, on the little coast near Lossiemouth.
Oh, okay. So what led you up to the Highlands of Scotland then?
I rebirthed in 92. We did our last, that's a good old pint there. We did our last tour in 92, and I was kicking against it for at least 5 years. It wasn't right for me. I felt that I was connected to music from the heart and the spirit, but the business was crushing me, and I didn't have the personality or the need or the will to want to be an icon. I had no interest in all that stuff, and it erupted. And I would say I rebirthed in 92, and between 92 and 95 I was pretty lost, though I was still being creative, and then I went to Scotland around 96 to the Highlands. I'd been up there and did a couple of little. I've always had a microcosmic perception of things, and like probably some of the people who were trying to help us become famous probably thought I was a self-saboteur in lots of ways, and I could understand that, but I just saw it as a very powerful negative termite mound that I'd been foolish enough to enter, and I was trying to get out of. It took 10 years to get out of, and when I got out, I experienced famine in this physical plane, but I felt spiritual enrichment coming back in the center, So I knew I'd done the right thing. It was hard because I'd spent 10 years trying to take care of my band as well. And in that kind of arena, and it's tough, in the early 80s, they wanted to fast track the artist and get rid of the band, bring in session musicians with curly perms, fast track you on the top of the pops, and that was my idea of hell.
Yeah. Because it's funny, if you go back and look, because I was looking for a picture to put on the webpage of you, and I'll tell you which one I've put in. If you want to send me a different one or choose a different one, that's absolutely fine. But I look back, the picture that pops up the most is that one of you with the big guitar and the hat.
Oh, yeah.
And you do look the part. If you look at you in the late 80s, you really did look the part. And you look at some of the songs you had, like, Holy Humble Heart and Salutation Road and stuff like that. It felt like you could have been big and famous, but you've got to be prepared to be ground out by the machine, haven't you?
You've got to have that. I mean, I now understand my friendship, Court, because we started off together as roots musicians, and he hated if anything got too big, he would sabotage it, and he wouldn't support Newcastle, he'd support Gateshead. He'd do anything that was the opposite of and I can see that, you go to a big football club and it's huge, and people are forced into being Machiavellian because of business, and when 3 or 4 people, male or female, come together for creative purpose, that initial birth is cosmic. I mean, some people get together with a business plan, but usually people who start playing music together are usually friends who love each other. And that was what I was hooked on. And when I was in the early days of Kitchenware, I'd say between 82 and 85, I was so happy. And I was part of a little family. Nobody knew who the hell we were. And it all changed when it got bigger, and the bands got bigger and went in different ways. And I felt like I lost a family there. And I was kind of in the wilderness. And the same thing happened to me when I was 11. I was a table tennis player till I was 15. And then I wrestled with my guru, and my guru rejected me. So I ended up in the wilderness again. So I've always kind of had a bit of a guru, like me manager Keith Armstrong, or me coach Jim Sixsmith from the age of 11 or 15. So I become a kind of a bit of a lost boy, a bit of a kind of spiritual, like a lost boy. And of course, the punk, it's the circus. In our day, was the circus coming past, I joined the circus, just to get away.
Right now, I normally ask people about about the process of putting together the mix, and also if there's any sort of theme. And I think there is a theme with yours here, because apart from 2 songs, which you've chosen 2 quite famous songs, the rest of them, a lot of listeners may well be completely unfamiliar with a lot of the rest of the choices. And that's deliberate on your part, isn't
Absolutely.
it? Yeah.
Absolutely.
So these are people, and I know you don't want to make this, I know you want to make it about them and not about you, but a lot of these people are people you've worked with, yeah?
Helped record or help co-produce or produce, yes. Yeah, and that's what's connected me to them, and seeing their journey. It's nice to get outside of the role of being the artist and then support. It's a bit like being a footballer and then becoming a coach.
Yeah.
So that's the perspective on it.
All right, okay. Well, let's start with the first one, then you'll hit the ground running track. So this is Davy Hutton. I couldn't find out a huge amount about Davy Hutton. He does have a website, davyhuttonmusic.com, and there's details about his album on there. I do know that the album, the proceeds from it are donated to a particular charity, Finding Your Feet, which is a charity because I believe Davy's sister has suffered a lost limb, so that all the proceeds from that go to that charity. And I know he's from Glasgow.
Yes.
But that's about it. So tell us a bit more about Davy.
Yeah. I've always wanted to release a little book called The Innkeepers.
Mm.
Because when I was, in my early 30s and I'd lost everything and I was just wandering around, I did go back to being a minstrel in a way, everything. Because when you sign off from the big devil, you get punished, but you also get your soul back. But I had to go out there and just do little gigs around in a little car. And there's people I'm still connected to through in that period, from the early 30s through my 40s and 50s. And I would call them innkeepers. They're really grassroots promoters, really. And they're dotted all over. Like if I think of Nottingham, I think of Rob Gibson. And Davy Hutton was one of those. He's very eccentric. He reminds me of a Hulk Hogan a little bit. He's got that. He was a rugby player and he's quite a big physical guy, but he's...
Well, the cover of the album's quite interesting because the first time I found the website, I thought, oh, no, this can't be right. Because I listened to the song, I looked at the cover, and I thought, this is some sort of rap, hip-hop sort of album or something because it's him with all the tattoos and everything. Yeah, it's not... The cover doesn't seem to quite match with the sound of the song.
Yeah, I mean, he is an entrepreneur. He was a rugby player. A bit of a playboy, and he bought this place called the Howard Inn. It was an old steady. You would go past Paisley on the way down to Ayrshire, and he bought this, and he was just like he's a very creative, very intelligent person, and he's playful. He's very kind, and he's just a mixed bag. He comes across like a big extrovert, but he's actually quite a shy person underneath. And I first played in the Howard Inn. And it was like the Addams family's house. I mean, there was a stuffed bear in a corner and a canoe on the roof. And he would pull out a big, powerful water jet and shoot everybody in the room with water. If anybody went into it with a tie, they'd be wrestled to the ground. The tie would be cut off. And it was a practical joker kind of. He had these huge African beds, man. And he was just an eccentric character, and full of fun and kind. And I would call him an innkeeper of that time. He was like a modern day kind of innkeeper, and I was a kind of a lost kind of wandering minstrel. Yeah. And that was how I met Dave. And it was like when you give up the path of like career, it still manifests on a cosmic level in a different way. Some people don't see it, It's like some people don't spot the angel at the bus stop when the little old lady's talking about a flower or something. Some people don't realize that they're with the angel. But I did, I spotted the dimensions. I spotted it at a higher level. But sometimes it doesn't have the immediate, obvious, like kind of wealth and narcissism that the standard industry is all kind of based on, like people becoming bigger and bigger and bigger and selling more records. And, it's the opposite,
So the song you've chosen is not actually on the album, I don't think. So this is called Dead End Road. Why did you particularly choose this one?
Because I'm helping him do a new album, and I'm fascinated by people who are coming into songwriting late in life,
right?
And he's fascinated with songs, and he's actually very talented. He's just, he sells houses as well. He's odd. He lives in a castle. Oh,
that is him. Well, when I was Googling him to find out more, this property agent thing kept cropping up, and I didn't think, is that him as well, is it?
Sold. He's so funny, man. But he really values honesty and goodwill, and he's a truthful guy, and a lot of it's the stuff that manifests around him is a lot to do with his playfulness, not with his need. He understands. I live in a tiny little place. And he's very happy. He comes up. He was up the other day recording these vocals, and he's just his own man. I love Davey. Like he's a special lad.
Born on the wrong side of town, born to score. But you're 3-0 down. It don't matter if you're bright, it don't matter if you're right. There's a street sign of nowhere and it's pointing down a dead end road. There's a street sign of nowhere pointing down a dead end road. It's all defeat and retreat on Necessity Street. Defeat and retreat on Necessity Street.
the city. Not born special, told you clever, pretty witty. Not believing you're entitled to be right, but you're bright. There's a street sign in nowhere pointing down a dead-end road. There's a street sign in nowhere pointing down a dead-end road. There's a path to success from your postal code, a path to success on a different road. Opportunities knocked, you gotta get a good start or get stuck in the blocks. It's an uneven pitch, a difficult game, but you can't score the goals. We're all born the same. Set the targets, learn the lessons, do the training, ask the questions. No inherited powers will beat the 10,000 hours. There's a street sign in the way I'm pointing down a dead-end road. There's a street sign in the way I'm pointing down a dead-end road. There's a street sign in the way I'm pointing down a dead-end road.
Davy Hutton with Dead End Road, the hit the ground running track of my guest this week, Martin Stephenson. Right, Martin, I have a usual question for all guests, which is, are you somebody who has always enjoyed making mixtapes and CDs and all the rest of it?
Yeah, especially my thing was listening to the John Peel show and recording like new things. Like, I can remember a track, Pepsi Cola, Beautiful Pictures. It was probably only played once. Yeah, I still remember it in 1979. I love things like that.
Yeah, there is a John Peel wiki site you can go on. You can find out. It lists every song he's ever played. It's incredible. People have the time to put this thing in. Yeah, okay. And did you make mixes for yourself, or did you make them for other people?
We would use cassettes, especially in the early 70s, because we were table tennis players.
Right.
And I got into the habit through my coach, because he was like 27 and he was into the Doors, he was into Family, Tamla Motown. So we could just devour his taste in music, and he'd have cassettes like "Come On Baby, Light My Fire," and you'd be practicing your table tennis to it, and then "Make You a Star" by David Essex would come on,
Oh yeah.
We're gonna make you, Benny and the Jets. If I hear them songs, that it just takes me back to his cassette. That was the first time I've become aware of like putting cassettes together, of tapes, of things.
Well, it's a mark of a good mix, I think, that somebody makes you, if when you hear a particular song, it finishes and you expect the next song on that mix to come on.
Wow, that's it. It's that's how etched it is,
Yeah. No, good. Right, okay. So you're something old. You've gone back to 1967, same time as Light My Fire's a bit later than that, isn't it? That's 1970, I think. Anyway, this is one of the two famous songs you've gone for. So you've gone for Suzanne by Leonard Cohen, a very, very famous song. Why, of all the songs 50 years old or more that you could have chosen, why particularly this one?
I think what I love about that was, just the effect that Judy Collins had on Leonard. Because, he was a writer and a poet, and he was kind of a bohemian character, young character. He was quite hung up about his voice, and he wasn't sure. And she kind of pushed him into being a bit of a kind of narrator with his songs, and she pushed him into singing his own songs. And that was, I think Judy Collins is an amazing woman, and we're better off for her vision with Leonard Cohen, because I think although he was a bit of a boy as well, he brought a lot to the table, and I think he was a wonderful uncle to have if you're a young songwriter coming through. He was kind of my cultured uncle. And
this song was originally a poem, wasn't it? Because he was a poet, and the poem was originally "Suzanne Takes You Down" from 1966. So, do you enjoy him as a poet as well as a musician?
Oh yeah, and is a bit of a dark. Well, he's gone now, but is a dark humorist, and I had
Yeah.
the chance to wave to him once. I
Okay.
was in Adelaide Airport with a young woman called Nima, and we were touring around Australia, and she went off to do a Zoom thing on a Mac, which was quite ahead of its time at the time, but it just
Mm.
come in, you know. And I was just sitting with my coffee, and I went to go past her, and she had her earphones on, and she was animated. She was from Canada, but she was half Lebanese. And as I was going past, she went, "Oh, Martin, come here, quick, quick!" And so I went over, and there's Leonard sitting like you on the screen,
Okay.
and she introduced me to him, and I says, "Wow, to give him a wave and that." And he's just a lovely guy, you know.
Suzanne takes you down to her place near the river. You can hear the boats go by. You can spend the night beside her, and you know that she's half crazy, but that's why you wanna be there. And she feeds you tea and oranges that come all the way from China. And just when you mean to tell her that you have no love to give her, then she gets you on her wavelength, and she lets the river answer that you've always been her lover. And you want to travel with her, and you want to travel blind, and you know that she will trust you, for you've touched her perfect body with your mind. And Jesus was a sailor when he walked upon the water, and he spent a long time watching from his lonely wooden tower. And when he knew for certain only drowning men could see him, he said, "All men will be sailors then, until the sea shall free them." But he himself was broken long before the sky would open. Forsaken, almost human, he sank beneath your wisdom like a stone. And you want to travel with him, and you want to travel blind, and you think maybe you'll trust him, for he's touched your perfect body with his mind. Now Suzanne takes your hand, and she leads you to the river. She is wearing rags and feathers from Salvation Army counters, and the sun pours down like honey on Our Lady of the Harbor. And she shows you where to look among the garbage and the flowers. There are heroes in the seaweed, there are children in the morning. They are leaning out for love, they will lean that way forever, while Suzanne holds the mirror. And you want to travel with her, and you want to travel blind, and you know you can trust her, for she's touched your perfect body with her mind.
Suzanne by Leonard Cohen, from back in 1967, an album called Songs of Leonard Cohen. Right, now we're on to something new now. Before we get to the actual song, Martin, to what extent do you try and keep up with things that are new? Because there's a ridiculous amount of music comes out every day these days, isn't it? So do you even try?
No, my newness, it just comes through life experience and trying not to get too distracted. I don't go searching, but just through doing it for a long, long time, I've found myself in a position now to help others and generations. You know, my daughter's a musician. I've got friends who are in their 20s and 30s and I've got friends who are my age and my generation that have kind of moved into it as well. So I feel really blessed to have had a chance to kind of help a little bit, you know.
Yeah. Okay. So your something new is one Anna Levine.
Yes.
Now, do you want to tell us a little bit about Anna?
Yes, in fact, Anna's sitting here, but Anna's
She was sitting right next to you, but she's disappeared now.
I'm sure you know. But I've known Anna for 12 years now, and Anna was she had a whole life before me. She worked with Lindsay Kemp, toured all over the world with Lindsay, and worked with the young ones in the early days. You know, Rick Meow. And she also worked with Marty Keane. She was quite close to Marty. They worked at the Sheffield where the snooker, the Crucible Theatre. She wouldn't like me telling you all this stuff. She's quite shy about that. But she was.
Is she still there? Because I can't see her now. But is she still loitering?
She's sitting on that chair. But she's an amazing lady. And me and Anna met later on in life, and we started working together straight away. We had a great working relationship. And Anna's. Although she's been very good with words and art and creativity and all that, she's found a real interest in songwriting over the last 6 or 7 years, and she's doing albums.
Yes. It says on her Bandcamp page that you and her travel a lot together.
Up until the last year, she's not been very well. She's had a thing called polymyalgia, which is kind of.
Oh yes, I know polymyalgia. My wife's had a bit of that. Yeah,
it's not nice. I mean, she has pockets where she has energy, but then she has to be very careful with her traveling. I miss travel. We get on really well, and she's on the ball. You know, she covers. She's got my back, and I miss not traveling with her.
Do you have a particular favourite part of the world to go to?
Well, I mean. We went to Simi recently, didn't we? A couple of years ago, at the island of Simi.
Okay.
It was just before Anna got poorly, actually, and we had a lovely. Although she wasn't very well then, it was a lovely little place. You know, we love just sitting in cafes and watching people and doing little sketches and just small things, you know, simple things.
Okay. I must confess, when you first emailed me the list, I looked down and I thought, how bizarre he's chosen an Avril Lavigne song. I can't be the first person to do that, which would have pleased my daughter. My daughter-in-law is a huge Avril Lavigne fan. In fact, I have a funny story for you. My eldest is 29, turns 30 this year, which makes me feel a bit old. And he's been married for 4 years. They bought a house. And so, you know, I keep waiting for the inevitable news to come that I'm going to be a grandfather for the first time. I've never told him this, but it's all right because he never listens to these anyway. And then last year, he rang up and said, we're just going to pop in on our way. We'll pop in this afternoon for a cup of tea, because they live a couple of hours away. And they chatted away. And then at some point, he turned to his wife, Lorraine, and said, so are you going to tell him or am I? I thought, here we go. It's the big news. I'm going to be... but anyway... The big news they had to tell us was that she'd been invited on stage by Avril Lavigne. So Avril had played 6 dates in the UK. Lorraine had been to all of them. Wow. And on the last one at Cardiff Castle, she'd recognised her in the audience and said, you've been to all of this tour, haven't you? Got her up on stage, gave her a bright pink electric guitar, which for her to take home. So it was a great story. But not quite the one of the level of importance I was expecting.
Right. But yeah, that might come later.
Well, it might, yes. Plenty of time for that. So anyway, let's hear Anna now. This song is called One Black Swan.
Precision graced graced with majesty. A grey gunmetal day, a storm was brewing through the bay, a grey gunmetal sea, with waves of fire and mercury. From the east a black swan flew, between the breakers and the shore, arrow straight and focus true, a vision graced with majesty. One black swan is flying through on a path of freedom. One black swan is flying through, mystical and free. As it is, so you shall be, liberty immortal. One black swan is flying through, mystical and free.
Right then, Martin, your Something Borrowed is the second well-known song. My dad, sadly, is no longer with us. He died back in 2010. He was a huge Newcastle United fan. He was a season ticket holder for about 45 years or something. You know, in the early days of Sky TV, you used to be able to re-watch a whole game live on a Saturday evening. You could just one was the package. He would go to St James's Park in the afternoon to see the Newcastle match, go home, and then watch that match again on Sky, rather than watching Liverpool or Man United. Anyway, so I mention him because he was a big fan of Elkie Brooks. He used to particularly enjoy singing along to Pearl's a Singer was his favourite. He used to do that in the car. So you've gone for Fool If You Think It's Over, which of course is a Chris Rea song. I hadn't realised till I looked into this. Chris Rea hated it.
Did he?
You know that? Yeah. So I read an interview with him. He said, I absolutely despise that song. It was in the wrong key. It ended up being this huge California thing, and he'd hoped it was going to be some sort of Memphis soul thing. That was his aim. It's back to what we were talking about at the beginning. The record companies turn it into something else. So, he absolutely hated it. But Elkie made it her own, I think.
So I think he hates the arrangement, probably not the song. You know, the arrangement's just the clothes that are on it, you know.
Yeah. So what do you love about this song?
Well, yeah, it was that time. It was just a time when there was some great singers, you know, and I think Elkie had a great voice. I mean, she was in Vinegar Joe, wasn't she, with Robert Palmer, and I always thought she was a really good singer. And I think that was one of the first examples to me of somebody who, because I didn't even know it was a Chris Rea song at first. She just made it her own, you know. But I like Chris Rea, and you know, he's gone now, and that. And I always like his down to earthness about him. His musicality as well.
Yeah, no, he always struck me. I mean, I'm not a huge fan, to be honest, but even though he was, you know, pretty famous, he always struck me as a bloke you could sit down and have a pint with.
Yeah. The Middlesbrough people are a bit like that, aren't they?
Well, it's all that smog, isn't it?
There's no fur coat, no knickers down there. Is there?
A dying flame, you're free again. Who could love, give that to you? Or such a tragic scene. He knocked your crown and ran away. First wound of pride, and how you cry and cry, but save your tears. Got years and years. Fool if you think it's over, 'cause you said goodbye. Fool if you think it's over, tell you why. Newborn eyes always cry with pain at the first look at the morning sun. Fool if you think it's over, it's just I'll buy your first good wine. We'll have a real good time. I'll save you crying for the day that may not come, but anyone who had to pay will laugh at you and say, "Fool if you think it's over, 'cause you said goodbye." Fool if you think it's over, tell you why. I'll buy your first good wine. We'll have a real good time. Fool if you think it's over, I'll tell you why. Newborn eyes always cry with pain at the first look at the morning sun. Fool if you think it's over, it's just begun.
Onto your Something Blue now, Martin. Now, this is another new artist. We've had your two famous songs, so everybody else now is going to be people that you're sort of supporting or work with and so on. So this is Murray Dolan. So she's also from the Highlands, isn't she?
She is. Our father's from Dundee. I think our mum might be from the Highlands. So, but I know our dad, Jerry Dolan. He's not far from where I live, but he's from Dundee, and he's got two girls, and they were brought up more or less in the Highlands. And I got to know Jerry a few years ago, and he asked me if I would help Murray cut some little demos, and she came around. She was just over 22, 21, 22 years old. A lovely girl. And she was about to go to Glasgow to study. I think she just started studying down there. And she came round a few times, and gosh, I fell off my chair when I heard her singing, She sounded like Grace Slick.
Yeah.
She just come out with it like that vocal that she does on this track. It was one take, and I had to convince her that she didn't have to do it again.
Yeah. She sounds a lot older than she is. I don't mean that, in a negative way, but she sounds very assured, doesn't she?
Yeah, well, young people, man. I've always said old spirit in the young, young spirit in the old.
Yeah.
I always say to young people, your vehicle might be younger than mine, but your soul could be thousands of years older than mine.
Yeah. Yeah, I have a 3-year-old daughter who's a bit like that, actually. She's got a very old soul in there, but enough of that. I should say that normally I put a Spotify playlist at the bottom of the webpage. There won't be one for this because apart from your two famous ones, I think there's 2 of the songs maybe that are on there. So you'll have to look these up, or better still, buy them. The only song I could find by Murray that is online to buy is one called "Break Up with Your Boyfriend," which I like. Honestly, that's a lovely song. But will this one be? Is this one that's unreleased as yet?
I'm not sure what she's doing. I did 2 sessions with her, about 6 songs and then 5 songs, and she's in Glasgow studying. I think I got her a little bit of management in America recently as well. Last year, a guy called Dolphus Ramsey was looking after her. She got a release in America, actually at quite a high level. But I'm not sure what she's probably not quite sure which direction she's going. But I think she's aware that she has an ability, and she's a great songwriter, a great young songwriter. She's unique, I'll probably end up working with her again at some point, but sometimes the younger people launch and they have to go and do other things, and then maybe they revisit you. You have to let them go. They fly.
That was Down by Maury Dolan, the Something Blue choice of my guest this week, Martin Stephenson. Right, we're going to take it down now, Martin. This is another Scottish connection, and Dundee again, which we mentioned already. So this is Nicola, do you say it Madill or Madill?
Yeah, I would say Madill.
Okay. So tell us, again, couldn't find very much other than the fact that she was from Dundee. So tell us a little bit about Nicola.
Nicola came away with the Dainties last year, and she did like a support on a national tour.
Okay.
And I actually just love the way she carried herself. Like, she's very graceful. Sometimes you get support acts and they take over and that don't understand boundaries. That like if I was supporting you, I would ask you, what time do you want me there? How long do you want me to play? Because it's not my show. I'm supporting you. And she had all that etiquette, but also she was classy. I mean, I think she's a classy artist, phenomenal singer, and great guitarist.
Okay. So I'm just taking a moment there to imagine a world where you might be supporting me.
Yes, you never know.
I don't know. You haven't heard my guitar playing; it's a bit dubious. Right. Okay. Well, yeah. Then this is a lovely, lovely song. So let's hear it now. This is Nicola with "Autumn Babe."
I awoke this morning from a dream of purple hues and blues and vapors of emerald green. It's left me tethered to its theme. The colors seep through my thought stream. I turned around and I found his eyes, still like the morning dew, waiting for the sun to rise. Sometimes life brings us such surprise, little learnings dressed up in disguise. He wakes up my child within, helps her to the call where she begins, has no care for where I've been, his judgment never appearing. There's another life for me and him, where my shades of fuchsia don't clash with his crimsons, but in this fleeting life we're captured in. He was born an autumn babe and I was born in spring. He asked me questions of my life when I was a child and wild, and the last time that I cried, I felt him feel each of my sighs. The silence ushered them on by. He wakes up my child within, helps her to the call where she begins, has no care for where I've been, his judgment never appearing. There's another life for me and him, where his leaves aren't falling whilst mine are blossoming, but in this fleeting life we're growing in. He was born an autumn babe and I was born in spring. How did we get here? How did we find a little place to hide that wasn't built by our design? Well, he knows I'm not his and he not mine. We're tangled in the winds of time. He wakes up my child within, helps her to the call where she begins, has no care for where I've been, his judgment never appearing. There's another life for me and him, where his day isn't shortened by my not giving in, but in this fleeting He was born an autumn babe, and I was born in spring.
We're on now, Martin, to the Around the World choice. Now, as far as I understand it, this person is actually from Birmingham, but is from an Irish background. Is that how we're sort of squeezing her into this category?
Yeah, you could do with Emma. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, fair enough. Fair enough. We've had a few people who've sort of bent the rules a little bit. My wife, who came on, was the worst of all. She got away with terrible mayhem with the parameters on the categories, but she got away with it because she's my wife, and you know that's how it goes. So yeah, this is Emma Flowers, or Emma G Flowers, I think she calls herself as well. Now she is has a little bit of more of an online presence. I found a few things about her, and this song you've chosen, Undercover Heart, I liked all of them, but this was one of my favorites. I think this one, and I found a lovely acoustic version of it from something called the Narrowboat Sessions. Have you come across this?
Oh, yeah.
So it's just her acoustic guitar. It's a beautiful, beautiful version of the song. I really like that a lot. I wrote down when I first listened to the mixes, I tried to listen without, before I research anything. I just listened to, no context, just the music, which I think is the best way to start off. And I wrote down Country Beach Boys.
Wow.
Which I thought was, do you know what I mean? Can you see what I mean there?
That. Yeah,
harmonies, but there's a country tinge, there's a country ballad tinge to it as well. It's lovely. The song's called Undercover Heart. So how do you know Emma then?
I think we bumped into actually the first time I remember bumping into Emma, I was playing the Jumping in Hot Club in Newcastle, Little Roots venue. It's been run by my friend since 1985, and Emma was there with her partner, and just clicked. And then I think she did a support a couple of years later, and we just ended up bumping into each other and did a little bit of work together. And I just like Emma. She's a real character, and good singer and good songwriter. And she's had a real history of music. I would say she's a very good contemporary kind of country writer, but not in that kind of corny Nashville way, where... one curly perm meets another curly perm, and they write a song about a curly perm that's killed in a train wreck.
I can't stop thinking about you. You knock me off my feet. This kind of thing don't happen with just anyone that I meet. There's something special, 'cause it just don't feel like a token. But this undercover heart is precious, and I don't want it broken. Every day is just the same, and it don't feel right. I'm wanting Monday mornings to feel like Saturday night. There's a change in me, I think that it's a good omen. But my undercover heart is tender and it can't be broken. I got an undercover heart, it's the strangest feeling. Loving from afar, but never revealing. When I'm feeling out, I'm wishing that you were near. Now this undercover heart, it can't hold back the tears.
One of the joys of doing this show, Martin, is people send me artists that I've not come across before, and I look them up after I've listened to the song a few times, and it often sends me down little, rabbit holes, finding out more and more. So this is one of them. So this is Jeep Solid. And Jeep Solid, I understand, the real name is Roderick Mackenzie.
That's
and
right.
Which Mojo magazine described him as the Sun Ra of the Highlands.
I think that's pretty close.
Interesting. And I found a trailer online. It's said to be a trailer of a documentary about him. And I watched the trailer, and it's basically him in his flat playing a bit of guitar and complaining about his next door neighbour and when he puts his bins out and stuff like that. It's a bit mad, to be perfectly honest. It's very entertaining, but a bit mad. So tell me about Jeep Solid.
Well, Jeep was around in the mid-'60s in London, and he worked with Tony Meehan, and he was working with, the guys out of Badfinger. They were all a similar age, and he was a session guitarist, journalist, writer, very creative head on his shoulders. But you're looking at, you've got to be really committed when you hook up with people like him, because he's highly autistic, but he's highly creative.
Yeah,
truthful.
I got that impression from the video.
Yeah, but I mean, his mind is beautiful, but he gets caught up in stuff. But and I've always told Jeep that his problem is abundance, being able to manage the abundance. I've met people who were the opposite, and they only have one or two things, and they make a formula out of it, and the whole lives channeled through that. He's the opposite. He has just abundance, but he's on the genius mode. And he did some great stuff in the 70s as well, when he was in Cody. And there was another band, Choco. He was part of White Trash. He was even involved with the New York Dolls, the beginning of that. He's got I'm trying to document him at the moment at times, just little documentations about him. But he's a very, very talented man. He's seen a lot.
Well, it's from, so the song's called Bad Weather. It's on an EP that was released in 2020. I think that both you and Anna are on this, so you're not?
I think we did some backing vocals on it. If you listen to the riff on that, it's a total rip. The Cars by Gary Newman, total off of that melody.
I must confess, I did notice that, yes.
Well, spotted.
The sun, see if it's still shining. I look through the clouds so high above, but there's no silver lining. Devil wind blows hard and fast, bringing down the sadness. An angel eyes from high above might stop all the madness. Yes, it looks like rain gonna fall again. Once they make their minds, nothing can stop bad weather. Will there be shelters to cover us? Protect and keep us together.
On to your wildcard choice now, Martin. This is another Scottish artist. I couldn't find this song online anywhere. It's Dave Fleming. He does have a song on an album called Caledoniaville, which is subtitled Scots Artists Who Love American Music. He does a song called California on there, which is very nice.
Yeah.
He's also on an album called We Are the Llama. Do you want to tell us about, anybody who doesn't know about it, tell us about We Are the Llama?
It's a compilation of people that I've had the honour to work with, you know. So it's a kind of a collective compilation. I just wanted people to hear these because some of the artists aren't interested in anybody knowing who they are. They're not like driven by. And Dave is a classic example of that. I mean, he really is a class A guitar player and singer, but he's just very introverted. You know, he's a flute player. I've known him for over 30 years, and he's a self-saboteur in lots of ways because he's nervous and he doesn't want people to. He could go out and play pubs and he'd be doing Copperhead Row and all that, and I'd be saying, Dave, man, what about your songs? You know, these are beautiful songs, you know. He's just, I mean, I totally love and respect him because not everybody wants to be a pop star. But he probably one of the most talented male artists that I've met up in the Highlands since I've lived here, you know. I mean, that's what I love about the Highlands. I came up here. People are just unique. They're not chasing, you know, they have a gift and they're not bothered. It's for their friends. You know, they're not bothered about world domination. And also people who have experienced the other side of it are here to rest up and just get their anonymity again. Like, I mean, Gavin Sutherland's a great example of that. Sutherland Brothers, his good friend Anna's, just lives around here and he plays bowls, you know. He likes a curry now and again. He's just like, leave me alone, you know.
I see your face in every mirror. I hear your voice in the rain. I wait for your love with every moment. One day I'll try again. Oh, loneliness, you broken my heart, torn me apart inside. For all the good times, they're all now gone, and in my memory you hide. And I see your eyes in the shadows around me, and I call your name in the dawn. Reach for your hand, but the darkness surrounds me, and all I had wanted is gone. Oh, loneliness, you broken my heart, torn me apart inside. For all the good times, they're all now but gone, and in my memory you hide. Yesterday I saw you far away. You never saw me as I turned around, and only a footstep away you walked by me, and I saw my life disappear in the crowd. I see your face in every mirror, and I hear your voice in the rain. I wait for your love with every moment, and one day I'll try again.
That was Every Mirror by Dave Fleming, the wildcard choice of my guest this week, Martin Stephenson. Right then, Martin, we're nearly at your finale, but I always ask people before we get to that that stage, what the future holds for you. What's the rest of us? So we're speaking at the end of July. I understand you've got a fairly notable birthday coming up quite soon. Is that right?
So I'm going to be 65 on Monday. So I'm going to spend it with Anna, and we're just going to have a little breakfast and potter around, walk along the beach. You know, I'm 65. I'm thankful to be here. I should be between 30.
And what about the rest of 2026 then?
Well, my next thing is helping Anna get a new album done. It's almost done, and in fact, the song that we played tonight is she's wrote for the young lady who's in jail, Amu. You know, one of the young people that we should be celebrating for their guts and their honor. You know, of trying to stop people being murdered by complicit action, you know, towards Israel. But I'm looking forward to helping Anna get her album out because she's got a lot to say, and I love working with people who have a good heart and they're trying to say good things, and they realize the power of song. Song's a very powerful thing, you know. It doesn't belong to publishers, you know. That's the low-level stuff. It belongs to the universe. And I've learned everything through being a song carrier. I've learned a lot through channeling songs. You can tell a channeled song because it's already written, and the person who carries it doesn't have a sense of ownership. They have a sense of service, you know. That's a whole different journey. So I'm looking forward to more of that and helping other artists, really. And just keep your head down and be simple.
So for your finale choice, we're not in Scotland anymore. There's a lot of Scottish acts there, but we're actually back to our mutual homeland. So this is a band from Newcastle, to pronounce it properly. It's funny. My mum and dad were from Chesley Street, which you all know well. Which of course you can tell a foreigner because they say Chesterley Street. Whereas anybody could tell you it's Chesley Street.
Chesley Street.
I didn't ask Martin, actually, whereabouts in Durham exactly are you from?
Well, I was born in Durham, but I was brought up in Washington.
Okay. So we used to go to Washington regularly.
A1M to you.
Before you had lots of big supermarkets, you know, these days you have all your big out of town supermarkets, but they all used to be high street ones, didn't they? When you and I were young, but we used to go to Washington because that was where Saver Centre was.
Saver Centre.
Do you remember Saver Centre with
yeah.
the big Sainsbury's and the cash and carry next door? Yeah. So that's why.
And you remember Woolco?
Yes, I remember Woolco as well. Yeah, and we used to go to Macro, which I think wasn't
Macro. Oh, that was for you had to have the card.
We had a card. Yes, we couldn't go in the food bit for some reason, but my dad had a card. I bought quite a few albums in Macro, actually. Funnily enough, there we go. So this will be completely lost on anybody who's not from the Northeast. But there we go. So this is another artist that was on We Are the Llama. It's El Cid. So tell us a bit about El Cid.
El Cid was like a little psychedelic garage band from the north of England. My daughter was playing bass. The son of the guitarist out of Hurrah, Taffy Hughes, his son Rupert Hughes, who's a bluegrass guitarist now, was on psychedelic guitar. There was a little lad called Michael and Johnny on drums. They were just young kids in their early 20s. And they were into kind of garage bands, 60s. Yeah.
Well, funny enough, I wrote, my first listener to write notes, I wrote Nuggets/Animals.
Do you know, I rang Rupert up, the guitarist, on there. I says, you need to get this band back together. It was done in 2011, I think. It's just incredible. I mean, I mixed it on me laptop, but it sounds like I was going to send it to Lenny Kay, actually.
All right, okay.
Because I think he would just think it's great. But they're all in their early 30s now. And they were like in their early 20s when they did that, But it's an exciting sound record,
Sail away, the lunar wave.
sin, I can't find my way. My heart's in a cove that drags my soul out. It picks me up and it pulls me down. So come with me and sail away the lunar wave. You're living it out. 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 You're living it out.
El Cid with Lunar Wave, and that is from their self-titled album from 2014, and it was the finale choice of my guest this week, Martin Stephenson. So, Martin, thank you ever so much for coming on. I'm glad we managed to do. We had a slightly delayed start owing to your travel difficulties and all the rest of it. I hope your car's fixed now.
Oh, well, it's getting there.
So, it's been a real pleasure to speak to you, and I hope you enjoyed putting it together, and I hope you've enjoyed coming on this evening.
It's been a joy to meet you, and thanks for your patience as well. You know, you were very patient when we missed the last session and the football was on, and you were very patient. And thank you.